Hi everyone, I'm Alex Novotny, a Senior Developer Evangelist here at Box. And today we're going to talk about Box Platform and accelerating your workflows using Box APIs. First up, we're going to talk about securely obtaining content using file requests. Then we're going to programmatically add metadata on files and folders. Following that, we're going to talk about Box Sign and easily sending files for signature. And we're going to end up with a fireside chat with MxHero. Let's jump in. Starting with file requests. File requests are one of my favorite features of Box. It's a fast and secure way to request and obtain files. You can request files from anyone, even if they don't have a Box account. You can automatically attach metadata and use that for searching in the main Box web app. You can also kick off relay workflows. We have 4 API endpoints with full SDK support. Speaking of the file request API, here are the endpoints. Copy file request is special and that you copy a current existing file request template. Get, update, and delete just require a file request ID parameter. To demonstrate the API capabilities, we're going to use a case management use case. In this example, legal. A particular lawyer needs to create a folder for clients to upload files for their particular case. She wants to use a file request to do this, but every client she doesn't want to have to make a file request for. She wants to do this automatically. So we're going to use the webhook service that Box offers. If you're not familiar with webhooks essentially run a block of code when a specified action happens in Box. Let's take a look. So our first step is to create a file request template. I'll go over and create a new folder for the file request template to exist in. And I'll call it Case Management Template. I'll then create a file request by clicking the ellipsis on the top right. I'll edit it by clicking Edit. You can change the title and description. You can also add fields at the bottom. We're going to want to add a metadata field. But before we do that, we need to create a metadata template. So we'll go back to the Box admin console and create one. Click Create New. You can name your template and create and name any fields. There are several types of fields, including date, text, single select, multi-select. Here I'm just creating fields that make sense in the case of a legal case management system, like description of document, case number, type of case. I'll click Save. Now we can go back to the file request. We can add a description and select the metadata template that we just created, as well as the fields for this specific file request. You can also add a theme in the top right by adding images or changing the color. Now we need to create an app. So we'll go over to the Box Developer Console and click Create New App alongside a Client Credentials Grant Authentication type. I'll provide the app a different access level as well as different scopes for my use case. In order to use an app, you have to authorize it in the admin console. You do that by grabbing the client ID and adding it into the app authorization flow. After it's authorized, we'll be able to create a webhook. We also get a service account, which we need to collaborate into the file request template in order to use it. Going back to the webhook tab, we're going to look at creating a V2 webhook. We need a URL address and a folder. So let's create the folder that our cases are going to live in. We also need to create security keys, and we also need to collaborate the service account into the cases folder. To create the security keys, you click Manage Security Keys, followed by generating a key for each key. To get the webhook URL, we're going to deploy some code. I'm using Vercel for this demo. On the Box community GitHub repository, you'll find a serverless demo for you to use. You can click the deploy button for easy deployment. This will ask you to create an account if you don't have one, and you can connect to GitHub repository directly here. After clicking Create, it'll ask you to input some different environment variables. For example, the client ID, which we can grab from the developer console. We also need the client secret, the enterprise ID, which you can grab from the admin console by going down to the account and billing section, and then we'll need to add the primary and secondary keys that we just created. Finally, we need the file request ID. Open the file request template that you created, click Edit, and find the ID in the URL bar. Now, after you click Deploy, you can go to the dashboard and grab your webhook's URL. We'll paste it in the URL bar for a v2 webhook, followed by API/webhook. We'll then need to select the item that we created earlier to trigger it on, which is the cases folder. Now we're going to select a trigger, which is anytime a folder is created, followed by create webhook. Now, if we create a new folder in the cases folder, the webhook will fire, and a file request will be created on this folder. We can find it by looking at the ellipsis button and clicking File Request. And here you see the file request template that we created earlier now copied onto this folder. Taking a look at the code, the first line where it says is valid uses those security keys that I mentioned earlier. We then use the Box Node SDK to copy the file request template that we created. As you can see, using the API to manage and create file requests is super powerful. We also saw the power of metadata. Metadata is defined and stored as custom data on files and folders, and extends the usability of content by illuminating the top-level information. It can be added on the fly or in a template, as we just saw in the previous demonstration. You can also use it to query or search with the metadata query service. We have over 25 API endpoints with full SDK support, and they can be used alongside the Box Skills machine learning framework. There are several parts of our metadata service. The first part is a template. You can have 500 in an enterprise. These make up the key value pairs. Then we have fields. These are the key value pairs on a template, and you can have 250 on a specified template. An instance is when you apply metadata specifically on a file or folder. Cascade policies are when you apply a metadata template to every file in a specified folder. And querying, I've already mentioned. You can query based on metadata that is on a file or folder. All of our metadata API endpoints are shown here. This slide shows a graph of all of them, and it comes directly from our developer.box.com documentation. To demonstrate the capabilities of the metadata API, we're going to pull a use case from our developer community. Recently, a developer asked how to find different video metadata information for a specified list of videos in a folder. We can do that using the Python SDK and a third-party library. Let's check it out. I've already created a folder for several video files called media metadata files. Let's look at that now. We want to attach metadata that corresponds to all of these different video files, like duration, frame rate, etc. I've already created an application and authorized it in the administrator console. On General Settings, let's grab the service account that was created after we authorized the application and collaborate it into the folder with the video files. I've also downloaded the code from our Box Community GitHub repository. I have input different configuration information in config.py. And there is a config_example.py file that you can use with your own application information. We'll go over to the README and follow the instructions. First, we're going to create a virtual environment. Then we're going to activate it. Now we need to install the dependencies. Now we're going to create a metadata template for the video metadata to exist on. If we go over to the admin console and reload the page, we'll see that the video metadata template has been created. This template is based off of a schematic JSON file that exists within the repo. Now, let's add the video metadata. We'll copy the command and grab the parent folder ID from the URL bar in Box. Once the code finished processing, we can go look at the videos in Box and see metadata has been attached. We'll see things like duration, video format, frame rate, etc. And here's another video example. As you can see, using the metadata API is super easy and super useful. Let's move on to Box Sign. Box Sign is one of our most recently released features, and you can now collect signatures natively in Box without using a third-party platform. You can select who needs to sign and the order they need to sign in, and the users don't need to have a Box account, just like file requests, to sign a document. You can also customize Box Sign requests just like you can file requests. And we have 5 API endpoints with full SDK support for you to create and manage any sign request. These are the steps that are required in order to send a document for signature. First, you need to upload or select a document for signature. Then you add each recipient who needs to receive or be notified. Following that, you need to assign each recipient a role, preparing fields and email notification settings, setting an expiration date if the request requires it, and then finally, sending the request for signature. With the API, you can do all of these in one stroke without doing it manually in the front end. Speaking of the API endpoints, here they are: create, resend, cancel, listing, and getting. In the upcoming demo, I will show a diver portal where divers need to sign a waiver to go on diving excursions. Let's check it out. This is the dive portal that I was talking about. You can book dives, look at your bookings, as well as look at UI elements from Box. Let's book a dive by clicking Book. I'll add my name and an email. This will use a sign request template to automatically send a waiver to the user via email. We can see the waiver over on the right side. It also will create a booking folder in Box, as we can see here. If I check my email, I'll see the sign request. I'll click Review Document. Accept the terms and conditions, and fill out the sign request. Once I sign and finish, it's saved back to Box. Let's go back to the Dive portal and reload the page. On the right, we can see the signed waiver. It also created a task for the sign admin in Box to approve or reject the waiver. You can find the code on the Box Community GitHub page. As you can see, using the Box Sign API is super powerful. Now, I want to move into a fireside chat with Don Hammonds, Executive Vice President at MxHero. Hi, Don. It's so nice to see you today. Thank you for coming over to the Redwood City here at Box. I'd like to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to our crowd.
Well, thank you, Alex, for having us today at Box headquarters. It's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah.
My name is Don Hammonds, and I'm the Chief Customer Officer for MxHero, a longtime Box partner. And I also support MxHero's global alliance efforts to support our work that we're doing with Box in Europe, as well as here in the Americas and in Asia Pac.
Yeah, awesome. So for those who don't know, tell me a little bit about MxHero. What do y'all do?
Yeah, so at MxHero, we are I think this is our 10th year as a partner with Box, and we built a platform called the Mail-to-Cloud solution, and it's essentially a digital bridge that allows us to take what Box does so well around digital content management, collaboration, security, and extend it to the email experience for our customers. So we're the creators of the Mail-to-Cloud digital bridge.
Awesome. So how did Box come into the solution? How did we come into play here?
Yeah, so a few years ago, in fact, when Box launched your partner ecosystem, and this was around, I think, 2013.
Okay.
You know, we really looked at Aaron's vision for the platform. Really, customers that really wanted to have a cloud-based platform to drive their digital interactions. And so we found that to be very visionary. And our team, we're essentially email engineers, right? We can innovate in that space, and we knew that email was content too. So for us, we thought, well, this is a great opportunity. What if we partnered up with Box and around the edge of your platform, innovate in a unique way that would let customers take advantage of all that Box does really well, but do it in the context of email. So that's really how the relationship started approximately 10 years ago. And of course, we've seen the evolution of Box in the enterprise and the public sector on a global basis as a platform. And as Box has continued to innovate and become what is today the Content Cloud,
right,
we've innovated along with you. And we've been able to find new and creative ways to really extend Box's security, collaboration, advantages to that email experience, which is today, given the threat surfaces that our customers are facing,
sure,
the goals that they have for cost containment, simplifying their application ecosystem, it's a really great time, and we're really bullish on Box and really excited about what we're doing with Box for your customers with our Mail-to-Cloud platform.
Awesome. Yeah, we love to hear that. So how exactly does it work? Can we dive a little bit more into the solution? Sure. How does it make a workflow more efficient?
Yeah, great question. So because of the Box platform, if you will, and the fact that you've exposed APIs that technology partners like MxHero can use to innovate around the edge of the Box Content Cloud, we were able to take it and with our Mail-to-Cloud platform and the native integration with Box's API, actually unlock all of the potential that Box has, but extend it to that email experience. So our Mail-to-Cloud platform allows customers to really do something that is unique. And that is really take what is essentially a 1970s IT technology that is email, right?
Yeah.
And as we all know, email is probably our number one risk in the enterprise from a security perspective.
100%.
It can also be, as you know very well, a content silo that's sitting off to the side of our digital experiences. And so, when you look at the fact that it's really heavy, potentially costly, also there are sustainability issues with it, and there are security issues with it. What if you could think future of work orientation around what could email be from a human communication modality, but fundamentally more secure? And so the Box Content Cloud, because it is all about enabling the human experience, unlocking the potential of our customers and their ecosystems, that's what you guys do so well.
Right.
What if we just took all those advantages and said, yeah, users can also use email, and email is content too, but it's also risky. And what if we brought it all together under one umbrella?
Right.
And that's really what we're doing. And we're doing that in a very unique way. It's platform oriented so that our customers can decide how they want to manage their email flow, similar to Box. Mm-hmm. As a customer, I might deploy Box, but then later I might turn on governance, or I might add Box Shield, or do something really cool on the integration side.
Yep.
So from an MxHero perspective, with our mail to cloud platform, we wanted to give the customers that same ability to innovate. And that is, could you get a quick time to value in terms of some things that are really important for email content capture, but then downstream, still using the same mail to cloud platform with Box, unlock additional potential or new use cases, and most of the time without any additional cost. So initial time to value, and then driving some elongated kind of a digital evolution orientation, as your CIO talks about often.
Yeah.
Ravi, your CIO, talks about the fact that it's not really digital transformation and time boxed. It's never ending. So we wanted to give our customers the ability with MxHero to continue to unlock value. And there are some unique ways, if you'd like to explore those as well, as far as how we're doing that, Alex.
Yeah, so what resources did y'all use to build this product? Because did you work with Box teams, specific folks here?
Yeah, for sure. And, we have tremendous support from Box leadership, from your partner team, your technologists, guys like Kyle Adams, and your partner ecosystem, Mike O'Neill's organization, and Dan O'Leary, Rob Fairley, the whole team that really enables and embraces partner innovation around the edge of the Box Content Cloud. So definitely have that support. From a technical perspective, the Box API is super powerful. Yep. So when you look at what MxHero can do with Box, things like, what about email at rest? Wouldn't the content be more valuable and more secure if it's in the Box Content Cloud? So we have customers that want to reduce the threat surface of email at rest if they're breached. And so they're using MxHero to pull content out of their at-rest email systems and get it into Box, where they can put retention policies around it, secure it, and collaborate on it more effectively. Inbound emails are a big risk for customers today. Sure. Weaponized attachments, business email compromise, ransomware. These are huge risks for our customers. And if content is more valuable and more secure in the Content Cloud, what if we could automate the ingestion and give customers the ability, because of the power of the Box API, a safe preview for that same inbound content? Now I can decide if it's safe. Do I trust it? And trust is a big thing right now for our customers. Can they trust our technologies? Are we baking in security and trust in everything that we do for them? On the outbound, today when users use email, and because of the power of the Box Platform API, we're able to automate the capture of outbound email when customers send emails. We prefer that the collaboration occur in Box. But we do know that users do use email. Right. And if I'm flying really fast, maybe I send an email out that has an attachment. Right. Wouldn't it be great if I could capture it in flight with no user changes at all?
And upload it to Box.
Upload it into Box, exactly. And then if I shared it with the wrong Alex, I can revoke access.
Right. Versus it being stuck in an email.
Totally. If I need a new version, I can go into Box and upload the new version. If I want a different sharing rule, so internally, our team, I might want to let them have it view and download unlimited access to content I'm sharing with them. But what about an external actor or recipient that I'm sharing content with? Maybe I want to have a different rule in terms of how I'm sharing that content. Yeah, sure. Maybe I want to watermark it, or I want to put a timeout time box around it, or make it view only. So these are some of the magic that we can turn on for our customers that they can take advantage of with MxHero. Yeah. And it's all because of the power of your platform and the API that we're able to integrate with.
Awesome. I love to hear all of this.
Thank you.
So looking forward, what's next for MxHero?
Yeah, I think one is we just want to work really hard with our partners and with Box to make sure our customers have better security outcomes for how they're unlocking their organization's human potential.
Sure.
And the security and trust piece of that is mission number one. So I think we're going to stay the course on that. I think we're seeing tailwind, not only from a business perspective, but in terms of customers saying that, yeah, we need to innovate here, because email is risky.
Yeah.
Box is powerful. Why not, extend those capabilities to that email experience? So we're going to stay focused on that. I think going global with you is going to continue to be a priority for MxHero. We're invested in Japan now. We opened up a headquarters in Tokyo last year, working with one of your big distributors over there. So really making sure that MxHero's access globally for Box customers is frictionless. And I think there are some other things that we're working on. Box rolled out Box Sign. MxHero, because of the power of your platform, innovated around it. So now it's mobile capable and you can invoke Box Sign from an email.
So talk about that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how that would work.
Yeah, so what we want to do, just like with mail to cloud, we want to let users use email the way they do today, but still pull in the power of Box. So with MxHero, we created a mail to sign add-on, if you will, via the Box API, that I could actually ask you to sign an NDA, not by attaching anything, not having to log into Box, not having to know how mail to sign or Box Sign works. I can just send you an email and it will automatically know that based on a trigger or a flag that I need to have you sign that NDA. So it's all mobile capable and really makes it more frictionless for customers to invoke Box Signature as part of your platform.
And it sounds user-friendly and easy for them to be accessing the documents.
Right, and I think it's an example as Box innovates, and because your team are really super supportive of partners, we're able to say, there's a new innovation. How can MxHero tie into that and add more value to it? I think AI is going to be another one for us.
Definitely.
And we're looking at that as well. Like, where's Box headed on that? And as a partner, how can we add value? Sure. But at the same time, how do you bake it in organically and not let it be viewed as a third-party bolt-on? How do you deploy AI and make it secure? These are all the
cost-effective, all the things.
Exactly, and these are all the things that we're really excited to be working on with you in partnership.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Don, for coming and chatting with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. It's great to be here, and it's always great to be at Box headquarters. And I'll just leave you with thanks from the team at MxHero, and go cloud.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining the session today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. You can follow us on Twitter at Box Platform, and you can also find all of the code that we showed in the demos today on our Box Community GitHub repository. See you soon.